I am obviously not going to make people watch this, but this is what my cart looks like after, oh, I don't know, 2 weeks of not cleaning it and having to start moving. But anyways, we'll be out of this finished garage, quote unquote, finished garage in the next week, and we'll be into an unfinished 2-car very, very shortly. But I've got a build that I've got going on, and this is the start of it. I'm going to make a long video and a short video. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a project. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Alright, I'm to the point where I'm going to have to hulk this thing off the cart and then move it out of the way to set it where I need to set it right there. So, yeah, I'll be right back after that. Success! And no hernia. I'm going to clean this off, set the ped up here. I'll tear it down a little bit, and then I'll show you the breakdown of what goes where with the 460 converted spindle drive Sport. Well, it's an X-Ped, SXP, but yeah, it's pretty snarly. Alright. I am running the camera slash phone myself. Just so you know, a small milk crate, even without being cut on a Super X-Ped with the grind deck platform, will sit on top of it with a bungee cord perfectly. This one has the neck cut out because I used this on my Bigfoot, and with the Bigfoot it sat perfectly in here with the front down and the engine out because of the weight on it. These little milk crates are perfect for setting your peds on, unless you're going to make a full custom stand for them. This is Mr. Nasty. We took the 460 off of my 8-speed homemade dirt bike, aluminum frame mountain bike, because I keep shredding chains and derailleurs. We took this off of that and we put it on a spindle drive Sport. I looked, I searched, I couldn't find anybody that did it. So if anybody has done it before, please show me. You can give me a picture. This was really simple. I'm just going to pause it for a little bit and grab up some tools. I'll show you before I start pulling it apart real up close what's going on. But it takes a little bit for me to mount the camera, so I may leave the camera on for just a little bit while I'm pulling stuff apart, but I don't have good editing ability, so pausing in between frames and then getting ready and then shooting a little scene is where I'm at, because I'm shooting by myself on my phone. And this is my last night in here in the garage. We'll go a little bit into that later, but yeah, milk crate, really good thing for holding the GoPed. This little work cart that's got all my little tools on it, it's not set up for GoPed use, but I will grab my tools and I will set up, and then I'll walk you through the process of what I did to make a 460 fit on a freaking spindle drive. Alright guys, be right back. Alright, so basically I'm going to start you there. What we're going to do is we're going to remove the bolt that I already removed right here. It's holding on the pipe, and then I'm going to remove these 10 millimeters. We'll pull the pipe off, and I'll remove the 4 bolts that hold the motor on and just rotate it onto the deck, and then I'll show you what the real magic is when it comes to this actual mounting. And I still haven't fixed it yet, but I figured it out, and I'll walk through that too. Be back in a sec. Okay, so now we were at the point that I've removed the 460 from it. I don't have to remove the bell from it, just kind of like an ADA, but there's a flaw. I'll get to that flaw in a minute. Do not judge me on the extra hardware that I had laying in the hardware bin that I used to attach the motor. Yes, I know that they don't match. The lengths were actually kind of right on, because they needed to be that length to do what I was doing here. to get them in and out without removing the bell. So I ended up drilling the bell, and I have a spare bell to show you what I did. Basically right there next to the gussets. I didn't measure or anything on this one, but it was right there next to the gussets. I had to put some fairly decent sized holes. And I know that the balance is going to be off, but I turned it around and I drilled one hole right in the corner, right in between the cooling fins, so that I could access a 3-bolt, or in this case a Phillips head screw, so that I could access it easy through the hole. And I ran 4 M6 Phillips head screws through the bell like that into the box of a Sport. And the only thing that really makes this possible is the custom spindle that is not true that I had lathed by a buddy in Arizona. Hey, it was for a motorized bicycle. It had a 3rd bearing on the outside, and it was bindy, but it worked. And if you can see that it is spinning the bell with me rotating the wheel pretty easily. The only real problem that we do have is that I did not install any spacers. And you can see, if I can block the light a little bit. No, I can't block the light. But if you can see in there, block that light just a little bit. If you can see that it pushed, because I tightened it up without any spacers in there, it pulled the bell in further on the bottom than the top. Because when we ran it the first time, it loosened up, so we tightened everything up, and we ran it again, so it pushed the inside of the box in a little bit, where it's touching on the face right there. On the one that I put on, there isn't the extra tabs that go up onto that. It's a little bit less, it must be an older bell, so it was fully flush there. Or maybe I modified it like that from before. I can't remember. But it was flush right there, and it fit directly inside of right there on the box. And it fit really well with this surface right here, because there wasn't these extra little tabs. I may have done that from before, I don't remember. But what I plan to do, I just kicked the spacers. What I plan to do is take these spacers and use the aluminum ones on the bottom and the nylon ones up top. Sorry, I'm making a whole bunch of noise. And I'm gonna set them like this. I'm going to have to notch them so that they sit right, because these gussets, the ones on the outside, are still on this one. So I'm going to have to notch them so that they fit where they need to go with the bolts. But this is my plan, and this is kind of a proof of concept video. This did run, and it ran stupid fast, but it did bend the box, and it started making a noise on the spindle, because the spindle is not exactly true. But yeah, there's gonna have to be a notch taken out of that one so that it sits over there, a notch taken out of that one, and vice versa. But I believe that will support it enough after I bend the box straight, and maybe add a couple of straps or something that's ground to shape to beef it up a little bit. And then I know that it's meant to be, because if you look, there's those two holes right there, right? That's from an engine protection bar that somebody cut off of this Super X-Ped before I got it, along with the exhaust right there. But if you look underneath of the 460, it's kind of tight right here. I have to come under here. Oh, the 460 is off of it. But anyways, if you looked at my pictures earlier, these two bars directly line up with the two mounting tabs that come right out here with the 460. And it's meant to be. They line right up. Here, hold on just a sec. Have to give a visual. There it is right there. They line right up. And yes, my throttle cable's in the way because I just moved it off of the deck, but that's sitting up against the bell. And I'm going to put a strut from one on the left, right straight up, or almost straight up, and then one on the right, almost straight up. It's pretty much perfect once it's bolted up. Yes, there's this tiny gap in there, but once that's done, that's going to be great. And it did totally work. It functioned before I pulled the motor back off. It's just starting to fall down again because there's no spacers in there and no extra gusset. So we're going to put some extra beef in there, and that should be good to go, man. Gigantic spindle. I think it's a 7/8 spindle, 7/8 inch spindle. It was kind of scary when I started getting on the pipe. And it's just this tiny little pipe right here. It's a PPS, I think. Believe it's a PPS pipe, the one with the end bleed silencer attachment, but we modified the manifold and put an extension on it. And I truly believe that this extension, even though it's a little bit haggard, and I hammered it and I squished it in the vise and I made it not terrible, it's actually flowing fairly decent. It flows into this little bit smaller pipe. This thing is monstrous on the torque. And yes, it's been dropped off of several different builds, and it's dinged and it's not great, but it still works. Man, this thing is ripping. I can't believe how good this actually came out. But a few little minor tweaks and finishes. This thing's going to be stupid. It already is stupid. It was stupid before I pulled it apart for this video. But you can see, if you look straight on the box, you can see the angle of the bell to the box. And that's pretty much straight on right here. You can see the angle. It's further down on this side than it is up top. And it's because this tire needs to be worn down because of the 7/8 spindle and because of how I have it mounted. I may just leave it the way that it is for a minute, put the engine back on and do some burnouts, but I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably going to pull it apart since I have it sitting on the cart already pulled apart. Pull it apart, fix it, and hope that the tall tire, that's the shortest one that I have, and I have 5 here because I have my little snap-on ped with the little Tanaka. We call her the slow ped. And then there's poor little Motobacon that got the motor stolen from it. But this thing is gonna be stupid. Anyways, let's do one last look around the garage, because this is going to be the last video in the garage. I got my lighting up there. I got my Jurassic World poster, the new one. Got AMS oil. Got my little tool set up, a whole bunch of extra stuff, and then there's the welding cart. Whole bunch of extra parts scattered everywhere. Lots of them have been relocated and the place looks a mess, but this is the last video here. There's my van over in the distance. There's my Buick. There's mine and my partner's Eclipse 2nd gen. There's me. Oh man, there's mine. This one's going to be stupid. And yeah, we haven't even really gotten anywhere on the motor. But just looking around. Yes, this is Colorado. I've got stuff scattered everywhere. Moving day in 6 days. Last one from this finished. Tall but no lift. Why? Tall but no lift. I mean, if I could lift this thing up out of the way and park another car up underneath it, because look, there's plenty of room for me to back it all the way up and lift a car up. That would have been nice, but I didn't buy this place. I was renting, and the landlord and the HOA hate that I work on my stuff. They say I'm running a business. So I found a nice 3-bedroom with a 2-car garage and a big backyard, and we're moving out. Moving on up to the north side of the Springs. And if I get any views from you guys at the Boosted Boys, we need to do a collabo, because 4G63 versus K20. And by the way, my brother has a Subaru. It's not boosted, but I did put forged internals in it. And we can see how far we can scatter an EJ all over the road. Because that might be a pretty cool video. Yes, their build's in progress, and no, we don't have funds. But we do have the passion. And I'm talking about me and my partner, because this is my partner's ride. This is his. And this is my ride. I've got the all-wheel. And he swears that he's going to be able to hook up. And I know it's silver and red. We had to switch out. It's all good. We got a shell with less rust. So, all the good parts still. It's all covered up. It's all the beautifulness is covered up. But all right, guys. It's been awesome talking. Getting this off my chest. One last video here in the garage. And this 460 spindle ped, it really is insane. I'm gonna make some videos after I support it and get everything lined up. May have to shrink that tire down a little bit with a grinder, but man, I need an air ped. I wanted to do this to my Bigfoot, but I was forced to sell it, so I guess we did it to this, and it's kind of stupid scary. I'm gonna get videos here pretty soon, guys. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.